I've been on it working around the clock. You probably hear the shit from down the block.
What up? Shout out to C-Ray. This shit's dope. Chuck Dynasty. I've been going to the gym today, so shout out to C-Ray. Brain, sick. Yeah. I'm still cool King iPhone Tech 9 though. Don't get it fucked up. But the motherfuckers are sick on the brain, so whatever. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But shout out to C-Ray. He's on Brain Sick Music. That was Chuck Dynasty. That's a little older ones from his album Ray Gun. He's somewhat underground, but he's fire, man. Anywho, haven't been on here in a long time, and I feel like I've been neglecting my own podcast out of like I guess shame, if you will, because I've been just getting fat as fuck. It's like, man, it's been a shit show, really. Like injuries, COVID, injuries, fucking the wife's COVID, and just slipped into that little niche of depression. But I got ahead of it. Got back on my meds as soon as I started feeling it. So, nope. And then my wife's been making me take GABA and 5-HTP, which I originally introduced to her, the 5-HTP, but I'm just lacking, It's like I'm one of those dumbasses that do what's good for me until I feel better. Like, thank God I'm not a schizophrenic, right? Or bipolar. Because I'm like, oh, I feel great. I don't need my meds. Then fucking, foibles would ensue. So me and she's not my wife, my fiance. I call her my wife out of habit, but my fiance and I, we set our wedding date for July 9th of 2022. And I am a fat motherfucker right now. Probably heaviest I've been in some time. Over 200 pounds. And all the pictures you see me, all the videos where you tell me to put my shirt back on and shit. I was about 177 to 185. So I have I turned into quite the fat piggy boy. That's all right. But with this new date in mind, it's giving me a lot of motivation and ambition to really be less fatter. So it's kind of like back to square one, but with some experience. So I'm hoping that I'm not really able to run like I was before, because my hip let me do a little bit, but it won't let me do a lot of it. I try to get in with this half marathon training, because I thought if I could do a whole and then break myself, I could do a half and get away with it, right? Because a half marathon is like 13.1 miles, whereas I was doing training runs at 20 miles, so I was thinking that's okay. But then I got to thinking and going back in time, and it's like, man, before that I was just got my riding an assault bike and walking on a treadmill for 30 minutes every workout. I put a minimalization to the bodybuilding aspect and just trained my core. I stretched and I did 30 minutes on the bike, and then I do quick, like what do they call that? Dog crap workout or something like that, where you go in, you get your sets real quick, clack, hella push-ups, whatever, because at that time I didn't have a gym to go to because they were all closed. And then some of y'all see me at my physical peak where I was 190, but all physical muscle, and that was after I joined Timber Gym, where I go now. But I was still running quite a bit, but I allowed a little bit of carbs to gain mass. But as time has gone on, I've gotten away from even giving a fuck, and I just ate a lot of bad food and been pretty stagnant. I changed careers, so I added 2 hours of driving into my day, So, I've got a lot of reasons as to why things have kind of gone south, but my missus has gotten thicker, which I don't mind, but she feels like, she wants to lose some weight too. So, we've been dieting hard, man. I've lost 10 pounds since January, and it is, the February 9th. So, I'm awaiting myself this week. I will, probably tomorrow morning, I like to weigh myself when I'm dehydrated because it makes me feel way better about myself because I don't have 5 pounds of water weight on me like I would do at the end of the day. But if you go on the scale in the morning, say you're 105 pounds, just for hypothetics, and then you go on the scale at the end of the day, you'll be like 108 to 111, depending on how much food and water you drink, right? So I like to weigh myself in the morning just because I'm a neurotic fool. But so that's what's going on with Jesse and his fucking fat bastardness. But I got a lot more ink since you see me last. This whole arm is pretty much sleeved in now. Sorry for all those little noises coming up. I just updated my computer, so I'm hearing a lot of Microsoft notifications. So beyond that, man, what about the Joe Rogan shit? Let's talk about that for a minute. I talked about it last night with Brett on Long Lost Brothers, but let's take it for a test spin. Let's look at this like in the eyes of the Jesse Show solo. So Joe Rogan, they're fucking with him, and then Neil Young said he's leaving, and some other artists left too from Spotify, which I feels weird because if they're gonna do that, then they should take the stuff off YouTube as well, right? Because they're still hanging out on there. I think they're just trying to force Spotify into fucking up the biggest fucking YouTube or the biggest podcast voice ever because he does not align with any he's an individual who makes his own choices. He doesn't align 100% with any political party. It's probably the best way to be as far as politics go. Just take it case by case. Like Chris Rock said it years ago. People ask him if he's a Democrat or if he's a conservative. He said, well, I'm not an idiot because I take every issue by issue, right? And Dan Cummins said, okay, I went and saw Dan Cummins recently. Hell, Nimrod. Word up, Lindsay. I love you guys. So he said something to the effect, he's like, well, I'm not a conservative or a Democrat. I'm a fucking individual. So Joe Rogan, that video with the N-word was, taken out of context as context, that it looks fucking horrendous. And, just spoke to that. And he stopped saying that word years ago of his own accord before, just because like that's just an ugly word. I shouldn't say it. It's not. Nobody cares for me to say that. It doesn't add to the conversation. But some of the older episodes, he does have that word on there. And so, anyway, Joe Rogan removed a bunch of old episodes. A lot of them being conservative, but it's like Gavin McInnes does a fucking that episode fucking sucked. Gavin is a provocateur. He likes to say a lot of shitty shit. And, part of the Proud Boys. And, he's just... Gavin McInnes is a douche. He can argue some good points, but he's poignant and salient, but at the same time, there's not a lot of metrics that back up what he's saying. So I understand that one. And Milo taking him off. I get it. I just feel like Joe's kind of been taking off a lot of the people that have been canceled. He took off the Alex Jones one. It's like, ouch. And I don't even love Alex Jones. It's just, man, he's funny as fuck to listen to Alex Jones. He's fucking crazy. But he was right about that fucking Bohemian Grove shit. You can't take that from Alex Jones, man. He caught all them motherfucking senators and shit worshiping some big owl statue. That shit was off the hook. And if you look into that, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that was fucking crazy. It's like, all right, Alex Jones. You can't take away Bohemian Grove from Alex Jones. So, anyway. But I will say this, like, I haven't even been listening to Joe Rogan except for the little 5-minute YouTube clips here and there. And not out of not support, just I don't have that much time to engage with a 4-hour podcast, like I listen to Time Suck, I listen to Scared to Death just because that's my shit. And I listened to like Small Town Murder with Jimmy Wisman and James Petrogallo. I listened to them for 5 years. Ever since they did an episode about my hometown, or not my hometown, but my transplant hometown, Raymond, Washington. Yeah, about I'll leave the names out because I know the people personally. But ever since that, they put me onto that. I got their autographs. Dan comes and Lindsay are super cool, and they do a lot of good shit. So, that's just where I place my stuff. I love Joe Rogan. That was my main jam for many years when I was a delivery driver. That got me through a lot of days, man. But, but I will say this controversy has drawn me back to listen to a little more Joe Rogan, So, I don't think I think that all this is gonna blow over, but we'll see, man. It's like, I think that if they did kick Joe Rogan off Spotify, that'd be a terrible move. And in any other place that picks him up, like Stitcher, and name it, Apple Music, Spotify, or not Spotify, he's right there. But anywhere that picks him up is gonna come up. That's just gonna be like where everybody goes for the podcast. And a lot of people will have to relocate their podcast to make sure it's on there. You can find I've just become myself a YouTube guy. I stopped putting my shit on other places for some reason. I don't know, probably because I'm lazy. But you know what? It's cool, man, because I don't got a huge viewership. I'll probably upload this video to Facebook too. I'm gonna try to start doing that because we do that on Long Lost Brothers. We just uploaded the video straight to YouTube or Facebook, so people can just watch it there if they have time, if they so choose. They can just they can get the lowdown. So yeah, man. There's a fight coming up I'm interested in. It's Masvidal versus Covington. Okay, as a human being, George Masvidal is arguably much more enjoyable. And he's a very dangerous person. But I think Colby Covington's gonna fuck his ass up just because of the aggressive nature of his wrestling, and his ground and pound and his attacks are faster. But George Masvidal is very tricky. He has that fucking one-hitter quitter power that you don't really see out of Colby. Colby's kind of more like a Diaz kind of thing, where it's like, oh, hella little shots, and wrestle the fuck out you, But in MMA, math doesn't work, as Joe Rogan has said. It's not like this guy gave this guy a hard time, but Masvidal got fucking iced by fucking Usman, and Colby has given Usman the fucking run for his money in both those fights, even with a broken jaw. I mean, Colby's tough as fuck. You can't get away from that. So my betting dollars that I never bet because I'm not a betting man would go to Covington. But Covington also plays a heel. He's the bad guy. He's like Chael Sonnen's fucking protege. And do you need your fucking UFC fighter to be a good guy? No, you want him to be an athlete. Like, there's Steelers fans that still root for fucking, that love Ben Rothwell after he raped some fucking girl. Like, I mean, people talk of, like, they still love Kobe, but I mean, that girl said that he forcibly penetrated her anus, and I don't know if that's true, but if they even said that about some people nowadays, it's like, it's done. But for other sports figures, they don't really politicize them as much. I mean, sort of like who Colin Kaepernick, they fucked him, but because he made it like massively political, rightfully so. Police brutality is fucking heinous. And at first, I was not on board with what he was doing. And the Niners are my favorite fucking team. I'm a fucking diehard, man.